First contact under fire. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, her eyes fixed on the swirling nebula that dominated the view screen. The exploration vessel had ventured farther than any human ship before, mapping the edges of what humanity called the frontier zone. After 3 centuries of interstellar travel, humans had claimed a modest corner of the galaxy, but the true vastness of space remained unexplored. "Captain, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from the Epsilon system," Lieutenant Cato reported, his voice cutting through Maya's thoughts. "The patterns don't match anything in our database." Maya straightened her uniform, the crisp black fabric a stark contrast against her olive skin. "Show me," she ordered, moving closer to the scanner station. The display lit up with wavelength readings, pulsing in an erratic pattern that sent a chill down Maya's spine. 15 years in space had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, those instincts were screaming that something was wrong. "Could be a natural phenomenon," Science Officer Eliza Mendez suggested, but her tone betrayed her doubt. "Or it could be weapons fire," Security Chief Thomas Reed countered, his scared face grim. "Massive weapons fire." Maya's decision came without hesitation. Set course for Epsilon. Maximum speed. The Defiant's engines hummed as the ship accelerated, stars blurring outside the viewports as they slipped into FTL travel. Maya gripped the railing of her command station, her knuckles white. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. The question had been partially answered when they discovered remnants of extinct civilizations, but no living, spacefaring species had been encountered. Until now, perhaps. They dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Epsilon system, and immediately the bridge fell silent. On the main screen, a battle raged around the system's 4th planet. Dozens of small, sleek vessels desperately evaded the ponderous bulk of 3 massive ships that resembled nothing so much as metal arthropods, their segmented hulls bristling with weapons. "Analysis," Maya demanded, her voice tight. "The smaller ships appeared to be defensive in nature," Cato reported. "The larger vessels, they're systematically destroying orbital structures. Planetary bombardment has already begun in the northern hemisphere. Life signs. Billions on the planet. Thousands in the defending fleet. The signatures are not human, Captain." Maya felt the weight of the moments settle on her shoulders. Humanity's first contact with a living alien civilization, and they were witnessing genocide. Tactical assessment. Reed's face was grim. "The invaders outclass us technologically. Their weapons are unlike anything we've seen. The Defiant was built for exploration, not warfare. And the defenders? Losing. Badly." Maya closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the eyes of her crew upon her. The regulations were clear. Observe and report. Do not interfere in conflicts between unknown species. Do not risk Earth's safety by provoking potentially hostile aliens. But those regulations had been written by people sitting safely behind desks, who had never watched a civilization being slaughtered. "Open a channel to the defending fleet," she ordered. "And bring weapons systems online." The bridge erupted in murmurs. Executive Officer David Harris stepped closer. "Captain, with all due respect, we're outmatched, and this isn't our fight." Maya met his gaze steadily. "Look at those ships, David. The defenders are using their vessels to shield evacuation transports. They're sacrificing themselves to save civilians. That makes this our fight." She turned to face the crew. "Humanity explored the stars wondering if we were alone. Today we know we're not. What we do next will define us for centuries to come. Will we be the species that watched genocide and did nothing?" A determined silence fell over the bridge. Harris nodded slowly, taking his position. "Channel open," Communications Officer Sarah Lee announced. Maya squared her shoulders. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth vessel Defiant. We stand ready to assist your defense efforts. Please advise on coordination." For several tense seconds, there was no response. Then the view screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. Its features were vaguely avian, with iridescent feather-like structures framing large, intelligent eyes. Earth vessel. The alien's voice came through the translator with a musical quality. I am Commander Zal Terran of the Ardari Defense Fleet. Your offer is unexpected but welcome. However, you should know that the harvesters show no mercy. They will destroy you as readily as they destroy us. We understand the risks, Maya replied. Send tactical data to our systems. We'll coordinate our attack. The Defiant moved into position, joining a defensive line of Ardari vessels. Maya studied the tactical display, noting the invaders' pattern. They were methodical, almost mechanical in their approach. Target the lead harvester vessel, she ordered. Concentrate fire on their propulsion systems. The Defiant's weapons weren't the most powerful, but they were precise. The first salvo struck the harvester ship exactly where Maya had intended, causing it to list slightly. They're adjusting course, Reed reported. And they're targeting us now. Evasive maneuvers, Maya commanded, just as the enemy fired. The Defiant shuddered violently as energy beams sliced through space, grazing their shields. Warning alarms blared across the bridge as systems trained under the assault. Shields at 60%, engineering reported through the comms. One more direct hit like that, and we're done for. Maya's mind raced. The Defiant couldn't match the harvesters for firepower, but perhaps they didn't need to. What about their communication systems? She asked. Can we disrupt them? Mendez's fingers flew over her console. Their ships appeared to be coordinating through quantum-entangled transmissions. If we could generate a counter-frequency. Do it, Maya ordered. While the Ardari fleet continued to engage the harvesters directly, the Defiant repositioned, launching a specialized probe. The device began emitting a disruptive signal aimed at the invaders' communication network. The effect was immediate. The harvester vessels, previously moving in perfect coordination, began to falter. Their formations broke apart as each ship suddenly operated independently. It's working, Kaito exclaimed. Their attack pattern is disintegrating. Maya didn't waste the opportunity. Signal the Ardari. Tell them to concentrate all fire on the lead vessel's central section while they're disorganized. The combined firepower of the Ardari fleet, now joined by the Defiant, converged on the largest harvester ship. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a dying star, the vessel erupted in a cascade of explosions, its segmented hull breaking apart. The remaining harvester ships, faced with unexpected resistance and unable to coordinate effectively, began to withdraw. The bridge crew of the Defiant watched in stunned silence as the massive alien vessels disappeared into the depths of space. They're retreating, Reed confirmed, disbelief evident in his voice. Commander Zal Terran's face appeared on the view screen again. The aliens' features were difficult to read, but the emotion in their voice was unmistakable. Earth vessel, they said, the Ardari people owe you a debt that cannot be repaid. For generations, we have watched the harvesters consume world after world. No one has ever stood with us against them before. Maya nodded solemnly. We couldn't stand by and watch your people suffer. But I need to understand, who are these harvesters? Why are they attacking you? The Ardari commander's expression darkened. They are an ancient species that travels between star clusters. They do not communicate or negotiate. They simply harvest resources, technology, even people. They take what they want and leave worlds barren. And they've done this to other civilizations. Many. The Ardari are but one of dozens of species in this sector alone who have suffered at their hands. Most were not fortunate enough to have defenders arrive in their hour of need. Maya felt a cold certainty settle in her stomach. This wasn't just about saving one alien civilization. This was about something far greater, a predatory force that threatened the very concept of peaceful coexistence among the stars. Commander, she said, her decision already made. I would like to propose an alliance between our peoples. But first, I need to return to Earth with this information. The harvesters may have retreated for now, but I suspect they'll return. And next time, they might not just be coming for the Ardari. Zaltaran's eyes seemed to glimmer with something like hope. You would stand with us against the darkness between stars. Maya looked around at her crew, seeing the same resolve reflected in their faces. Humanity has always wondered if we're alone in the universe, she said. Now we know we're not, and we won't let you face this threat alone. As the Defiant prepared to return to Earth, Maya knew she was carrying more than just information about first contact. She was carrying the seeds of humanity's new purpose among the stars, not just explorers, but protectors. The galaxy was full of life, and some of that life needed defenders. Humanity was about to answer a calling they never knew they had. The Shield of Stars. 6 months had passed since the Defiant's return to Earth. 6 months of urgent diplomatic meetings, military councils, and public debates. Maya Chen stood in the observation deck of the newly commissioned UES Sentinel, the first vessel in humanity's Guardian Armada, watching as Earth grew smaller in the viewport. Admiral on deck. Someone called, and the officers snapped to attention. Maya turned, still unused to the Admiral's insignia on her uniform. At ease, she said, approaching the tactical display where Fleet Commander Raj Patel waited. The fleet is assembled and ready, Admiral, Patel reported. 27 ships, including 5 heavy cruisers retrofitted with the new shield technology the Ardari helped us develop. Maya nodded, studying the formation. The Guardian Armada represented the largest concentration of human military power ever assembled in space, yet it was only the beginning. Back on Earth, shipyards worked around the clock, constructing more vessels. For the first time in centuries, humanity had united with singular purpose. And the coalition representatives, she asked. Aboard and settled, the Ardari delegation is on the Sentinel with us. The Lyrian and Vosh delegations are on the Intrepid and Dauntless, respectively. In the months since first contact, Earth had established diplomatic relations with not only the Ardari, but 2 other species who had suffered at the hands of the harvesters. The Lyrians, an aquatic species whose homeworld had been half stripped of its oceans, and the Vosh, nomadic refugees whose planet had been completely destroyed. Together, they had formed the Sentinel Coalition, the first interspecies defensive alliance in known galactic history. Admiral. Lieutenant Cato approached, having transferred from the Defiant to serve on Maya's command staff. Long-range sensors are detecting harvester activity in the Proxima Centauri system. They've begun orbital bombardment of the 3rd planet. Maya's jaw tightened. Proxima Centauri was home to a pre-spaceflight civilization, one humanity had been observing from a distance for decades, careful not to interfere with their natural development. How many harvester ships? 5, including what appears to be a mothership. It's considerably larger than anything we encountered at Epsilon. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. The intelligence provided by the coalition species suggested that the harvesters operated in autonomous fleets, but occasionally deployed motherships to particularly valuable targets. The presence of one at Proxima Centauri was troubling. Signal the fleet, she ordered. Set course for Proxima Centauri, maximum speed, and request that the coalition representatives join me in the war room. An hour later, Maya stood before a diverse gathering of species. The Ardari with their avian features, the Lyrians, whose translucent skin revealed the flow of mercury-like blood beneath, and the Vosh, tall and gaunt with 4 arms. Together with her human officers, they represented the first line of defense against the galactic predator. The harvesters have targeted Proxima Centauri, Maya explained, activating the holographic display. Based on their pattern of operation, they'll strip the system bare and move on to the next target. Our intelligence suggests they're working their way through this spiral arm, which puts them on a course that will eventually lead them to all our homeworlds. Zaltaran, now serving as the Ardari ambassador, spoke up. They have never faced united resistance before. Always, they have picked off isolated worlds, one by one. No single species has had the strength to stand against them alone. Which is why we stand together now, Maya replied. But this will be different from the engagement at Epsilon. We're facing a mothership, the command center for this entire harvester fleet. Ambassador Vashkal, his forehands making rapid gestures that the translator interpreted, added, "Our histories tell of mothership encounters. They are heavily armored and carry devastating weapons. None who have engaged them directly have survived to report." Maya nodded grimly. "Then we'll be the first." The Coalition fleet dropped out of FTL on the outer edge of the Proxima Centauri system. Immediately, the tactical displays lit up with the signatures of harvester vessels. 4 destroyer-class ships surrounded the massive mothership, which hung in orbit around the third planet like a metallic spider over prey. "They've detected us," Paddle reported. "The destroyer ships are breaking orbit to intercept." Maya studied the formation, just as we anticipated. Signal Battle Group Alpha to engage the destroyers. The rest of the fleet will focus on penetrating the mothership's defenses. The Guardian Armada split into its predetermined groups, the smaller, faster ships moving to engage the harvester destroyers, while the heavier cruisers formed a spearhead aimed at the mothership. "Open a channel to the harvester vessels," Maya ordered. Communications Officer Lee looked surprised. "Admiral, I want to try something. Open the channel." After a moment, Lee nodded. "Channel open. Broadcasting on all frequencies." Maya stepped forward. "Harvester Command Vessel. This is Admiral Maya Chen of the Earth Guardian Armada. You are engaging in hostile actions against a protected world. Cease your operations immediately and withdraw from this system." There was no response, only silent seconds stretching into a minute. Then, unexpectedly, the view screen flickered and an image appeared. The being that faced them was unlike anything Maya had imagined. It had no discernible features that correlated to any known species. No eyes, no mouth, just a shifting mass of what looked like liquid metal formed into a vaguely humanoid shape. "You, protect," came a voice that seemed to bypass the translator entirely, echoing directly in their minds. "Inefficient, wasteful. All resources will be harvested. All technology will be absorbed. All resistance will be processed." The transmission cut off abruptly as the first salvos of energy fire erupted from the harvester destroyers. "Well," Maya said grimly, "we tried diplomacy." Battle stations. The Sentinel shuddered as its shields absorbed enemy fire. Around them, the Coalition fleet engaged the harvester vessels. Human ships fought alongside Ardari vessels, their complementary tactics creating an effective defense against the methodical harvester approach. "The destroyers are targeting our smaller vessels," Paddle reported. "They're trying to pick off our support ships." Maya nodded. "Have Battle Group Alpha implement evasive pattern Theta. Keep them occupied while we position for the main assault." On the tactical display, the Coalition ships danced through space, drawing the harvester destroyers into a complex web of crossfire. Meanwhile, the Sentinel led the cruiser group in a direct approach toward the mothership. "Mothership is charging weapons systems," Kaido reported, his voice tense. "Energy readings are off the charts. Brace for impact." Maya ordered, just as a blinding beam of energy lanced out from the mothership. The Sentinel rocked violently as the energy strike hit their shields. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. "Shields holding at 30%. Engineering reported. We can't take another hit like that." Maya's mind raced. The mothership's weapons were more powerful than they had anticipated. Direct assault wouldn't work. They needed another approach. "The harvester communication disruption we used at Epsilon," she said suddenly. "Could we adapt it to affect the mothership's control over its destroyers?" Science Officer Mendez, who had also transferred from the Defiant, frowned in concentration. "Possibly, but we'd need to get much closer. And the disruption would have to be exponentially stronger to affect the mothership's systems." Ambassador Zal Terran stepped forward. "The Ardari vessels carry quantum resonators. If synchronized with your disruption technology, they could amplify the effect." Maya nodded decisively. "Do it. And signal the Lyrian ships. Their phase-shifting technology could get a small strike team close enough to plant disruptor beacons directly on the mothership's hull." The plan came together with remarkable speed, each species contributing their unique technologies and tactics. The Ardari ships positioned themselves in a precise formation around the human cruisers, their quantum resonators humming to life. The Lyrian vessels, nearly invisible thanks to their phase-shifting technology, slipped past the mothership's outer defenses. Strike team is in position, Patel confirmed. Beacons are being planted now. Maya watched the tactical display, her breath held. Everything depended on perfect timing. Beacons planted. Strike team is clear. Now, Maya ordered. Activate the disruption sequence. The coalition ships fired in unison, not targeting the mothership's hull, but creating a web of energy that connected with the planted beacons. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The mothership seemed to spasm, its weapon systems firing randomly into space. The destroyer vessels froze, suddenly cut off from their command center. "It's working," Kaito exclaimed. "The mothership's systems are cascading into failure." Maya leaned forward. "All ships target the mothership's main reactor. Fire everything we've got." The combined firepower of the coalition fleet converged on a single point, the vulnerable reactor core now exposed by the system's failure. For a moment, the mothership seemed to absorb the assault, its massive hull impervious to their attacks. Then, like a star going nova, light erupted from within. The mothership began to break apart, massive chunks of hull tearing away as internal explosions rippled through its structure. "The destroyer vessels are powering down," Paddle reported, disbelief in his voice. "Without the mothership, they're completely inert." Maya watched as the remains of the mothership drifted in space, the threat it represented finally neutralized. Around them, the coalition fleet regrouped, damaged but victorious. "Open a channel to all coalition vessels," she ordered, her voice steady despite the emotion welling in her chest. "Channel open, Admiral." Maya took a deep breath. "This is Admiral Chen. The mothership has been destroyed. Proxima Centauri is safe." She paused, letting the significance of the moment sink in. "Today, we've proven that the harvesters can be defeated when we stand together. But our work is just beginning. There are more harvester fleets out there, more worlds at risk. The Guardian Armada will continue its mission, to defend those who cannot defend themselves, to stand against those who would destroy rather than create." She looked around at the bridge, at the human crew who had journeyed with her from that first encounter to this historic moment, and at the alien representatives who had trusted humanity enough to fight alongside them. Today, humanity's fleet became more than just Earth's defenders. Today, we became the shield of stars. In the years that followed, the Guardian Armada grew into a vast interstellar force. More species joined the coalition, bringing their own technologies and perspectives. The harvesters, for the first time in their long history of consumption, began to retreat from the territories protected by the human-led alliance. And across the galaxy, on worlds that had lived in fear of the next harvest, a new message spread. When darkness comes from the stars, look for the ships with the Earth insignia. They stand between the innocent and the void. They are humanity's gift to the galaxy. Protectors, defenders, guardians. The shield of stars,